So I just got home. This video will be your classic, natural, Homer type video. No cuts, no scripts, no captions even. Just me and a yap. So how I've been doing? I would like to say very well, but of course, I always say that to make sure that I am well. What we say to ourselves is very important, therefore I have to say I am well. I had fun today, or at least I tried to, or I was. But if there's one thing to summarize how I've been doing, is that ever since I came here, or at least when things started to look great or relatively better from where I've started, it's just that every time I finally head back home, look up at the sky, arrive here at my dorm, the reality sinks in of my situation, and I know it's an internal conflict within me, and it's up to me only. It's only up to me. It's nobody else's responsibility to change this for me. I feel the silence, I feel the solitude, I feel the loneliness, and yes, you can argue that I am not alone. I agree with that. But overall, it's a huge mental battle within me, especially emotionally, especially mentally, perhaps even psychologically, but it's not really new, especially in today's society. I've been leading a lot lately, especially group presentations, group projects, something that I would never even think about taking up as a responsibility back then. So I guess you could say that whether or not this is compensation or a distraction or whatever you may want to call it, the mere fact that once the bell rings, once I finally start to walk back home, say goodbyes, fist bump my friends, and tell them to take care and all that, once I walk back home, things start to darken, and I think that's enough of an indicator that I wouldn't necessarily say it's a distraction because I want to, but it just naturally is. Of course, when your mind is busy or taken up by other things other than the bleakness of the situation, then yeah, I guess it just makes sense to call it a pseudo distraction, if such a thing would exist. I tried opening up a while ago. I was exposed to be a pseudo alcoholic. I don't even know if that's a term. I want to make it clear that I do not advocate for alcoholism. I understand why people turn to such a vice. That's something I've realized lately as I finally start on my adulthood journey. I understand people who turn to vices because of life's hardships and, let's just say, cruelties. But I could say that I've been enjoying going out lately with friends and just going out for a drink. I've had high alcohol tolerance, so that's very great. But again, I don't really look like the type to go out there and drink myself into what? Distraction. Again, I do not advocate for the use of vices or relying on very negative things such as alcohol and partying to get your shit together or rebuild or recover from very, I wouldn't necessarily say terrible, but let's just say the harsh truths of reality. But of course, I told them the reason as to why I've been going out like that. It's not that I'm not aware. Of course, I'm responsibly doing this. This is not just I have a tragic backstory now, therefore I have the right to throw my life away or something similar to that. It's just, okay, I said I'm 5-6 months into this whole breakup thing, and somebody else, the girl who asked me, was like, oh, I know she didn't mean it to be in such a very insulting way, but she said, oh, 5 months, so I've been broken up with by my boyfriend for a month. Like, fuck you. Like, okay, I know, based on her personality, she meant it as a joke most likely, but there's this just stigma regarding men opening up, especially with my past few videos. I've come to realize that it is a sign of weakness. It's not something the girls really like. You come off as unreliable, you come off as soft, and at one point in my life I've accepted that that's just my image, that's just the aura I give off, and I embraced it as the little brother in most groups that I associate myself with. But yeah, it's just pretty sad that we can't really talk about our emotional battles and not it be taken as a slight jab of a joke per se. And that fact in itself, that realization that the way I've been carrying myself, the way I've implemented my systems in life and how they have not been working at all, or at least recently, it's a phase of exploration and change, I understand. But yeah, this metamorphosis thing with the caterpillar and the butterfly, it is a very profound and of course painful and disheartening process to go through. And it's not that I haven't been receiving support. Of course I have friends, I'm fortunate to have friends. But when it's like this, when it's just me, the aircon ringing in the background, my camera, and it's a full moon tonight, and tomorrow is the 15th, yeah, it just sinks in. I know it's an internal thing, it's the way I interpret things and how I give the meaning and how I let them affect the way I think and what I do. It's a principle, it's a stoic principle, but yeah, it's definitely difficult to disregard all that. So I was thinking of, in addition to having my father's birthday like 3 days ago and it being 15 and a full moon, and the 15 being F115s, it's just something I do now as tradition, I guess. It's just a way for me to celebrate or commemorate, if you would like to call it that, experiences I've gone through with BL. Yeah, it's Slytherin 7s and F115s. That's something I'm planning to really commit to. I've been inconsistent because it's either I forget or I reminisce. Okay, it's my nature. Anyways, so that's all there is it. That's all there is it for me. Nothing really major going on. I'm still alive. I've been keeping myself alive. It's been tough. I don't hate anyone in particular. I don't bear any ill will towards anybody. But perhaps the mere fact that I've been redirecting all those potentially ill wills I've been burdening for so long, I've redirected them towards me, and that cancels out that positivity in a way. Of course, I understand I should let myself become happy. I led the presentation. It just finished like literally 30 minutes ago, and I had fun. But it's that moment that sinks in. This is very common. I've seen this in media, when you're finally smiling, when you're finally laughing, when things finally start going the way you want them to, and everything's going great, you're suddenly reminded, like everything just goes, it's like being hit with a flashbang or a flash grenade. Everything just goes white, your ears start ringing. And then I thought to myself, it was like this at one point back then in Liceo. It was one point like this. It was at one point like this also in Don Bosco, whether it be the PUBG front, the chess front. It's that moment of laughter and joy that you share with other people, and the next thing you know, it's all over. And of course, that that thought in itself is enough to just like, Homer, why are you smiling? You know, one day this will all disappear again, as it always does, as it always did. And that's the cruelty of like the life that I'm definitely having trouble swallowing. It's a pill that's difficult for me to swallow, and it's disheartening for me to see other people dealing with it like it's nothing. Or they are, but they're hiding it pretty well. So I guess that's it. Thank you for watching. This has been Homer. It's been so long. Don't worry, I've been editing that vlog. It's the 15th. It's supposed to be, I don't know, I'm not even counting anymore, the 6th or the 7th or the 10th. Stay chill, my friends. I say yo. Peace.